Dark Odyssey is a 2.1 solo extreme demon level created, verified, and published by Jonathan GD. It is the sequel and a remake of Dark Travel, having a much larger object quantity than its predecessor. It was considered an entry for the GDSCC. Unfortunately, it was unable to meet the deadline of July 22nd, 2020, instead of being completed on May 15th, 2021. Jonathan GD took 13 months and 143 streams to build and verify this project. The gameplay is similar to Dark Travel. At 0 to 2%, the beginning of the level includes a short but fairly tight rocket ship section. It opens with Jonathan GD's name, the level name, and states it is a remake of Dark Travel. A blue touchable area that activates low detail mode is seen at the top of the level. At 2 to 9%, the cube section features detailed and realistic scenery, including a windmill and many stone piles. This section is followed by a ball part in a stony area where the background's sky color changing from light blue to orange. Most of the movements in these sections are fairly easy, with the ball being the harder part of the two. As the icon returns to the cube, shortly after holding a green dash orb, the camera begins to glitch out. The player must keep holding as it glitches to proceed. At 9 to 16%, the cube changes into a robot and is seen in a minecart. Along with some tight platforming jumps, monsters spit out fireballs and lasers before charging headfirst at the robot. Before the second monster fires its laser, seen by the straight line attack indicator, a red sphere will help the robot jump high and avoid it. After jumping out of the cart before it falls into a pile of spikes, the level enters double speed and many monsters begin chasing the robot. Halfway to the chase, the speed is increased to triple speed and then to quadruple speed with a mini portal. The robot becomes a cube and enters half speed as the transition to the next section happens. At 16 to 24%, a triple speed rocket ship sequence begins in a factory setting, with the icon having the ability to push and move yellow blocks while ploughing right through white ones. The icons must push 2 yellow blocks onto 2 switches, opening the path forwards. Larger blocks with spikes follow the icon's Y movement with a delay, after which a quick memorization part occurs where the available platforms change rapidly in a small corridor. The rocket ship becomes a wave, with a pattern of 3 arrows appearing on the bottom. After some maneuvering, the icon must pass through 3 touch triggers in the same order as the pattern of arrows pointing. Cartwheels with spiky blocks proceeded, followed by 3 colored paths, 2 red and 1 green. The player should take the green path to continue. Worth noting is that both the arrows and the correct corridors are randomized in each run. At 24 to 27%, in this sewer scene, many game modes are used at single speed. Those are the mini robot, wave, mini ship, and mini cube respectively. There are many difficult jumps and timings here. At 27 to 31%, another triple speed rocket ship sequence with tough flying paths. and an upside-down portal, followed by a spider segment with frequent and tight timings. The background is the inside of a castle, and Chespin can be seen in one of the windows. At 31 to 36%, a fast UFO with many fake orbs. Avoid tapping/clicking when over an orb with a red or black X over them, as these will cause death. The UFO gradually slows down near the end, and the glitch effect happens again. At 36 to 42%, as the glitching continues throughout this red part, the icon becomes a mini cube with moderate difficulty, then a rocket ship, then a mini rocket ship. The two rocket ship sections are extraordinarily tight and require extreme precision to make it through. As a part of the glitch effect, the icon may disappear briefly and then reappear. At 42 to 47%, a simple cube segment as lightning strikes near the end. A triple spike with the words RIP Michigan and halfway point is indicated. At 47 to 52%, here a sun shower is happening and the vertical visibility is somewhat decreased. The jumps for the mini-cube are simple once again as the second transition begins. The cube returns to normal size and 5 green trigger orbs will need to be hit before the green dash orb. Prepare for the most difficult part of the level. At 52 to 63%, this section with a rainbow background being entirely a duel is most likely the hardest part of the entire level. It starts with the cubes being synchronized. After that, the synchronous parts are the waves with the flowing arrow transitional effect. Faint indicators will help the player with timing their inputs. The game modes played here, not including the wave transitions, are as follows: dual cube with a mini section, dual robot, dual UFO with a mini section, dual mini cube, dual ball, dual mini spider, dual mini cube, dual mini robot, and dual mini cube. Practice is key to mastering this section. At 63 to 69%, the game modes rapidly change here. There is a cube, rocket ship, mini cube, wave, and another mini cube, mini rocket ship, and a mini spider section. Be sure to hit every sphere with an arrow pointing at it along the way, or the player will not make it. Near the end, the game modes speed up, ending with a triple speed upside down rocket ship. A trigger orb directly before the last rocket ship part must be used to move a saw blade out of the icon's path. At the transition with the colored pillars, hit all of the question mark blocks to open a path and proceed. At 69 to 75%, taking place in a cloud scene, the first minicube requires consistent timings of hitting all the colored orbs. The last scatter section is at quadruple speed, with the game modes shifting between a straight fly rocket ship, wave, UFO, and a rocket ship, where blue orbs must be used to progress. In the transition, ripple effects make platforms come and go that the minicube can use. At 75 to 79%, the second rainbow background section contains another duel that is all synchronous, while controlling two separate game modes. Thankfully, there are arrows on the ground or near each orb that specify when to tap/click. A simple 3-orb transition follows it. At 79 to 84%, the mini rocket ship is used, while the background blocks and decoration rapidly change to a wide variety of different art styles. The path is the same regardless of the style and is mostly straightforward to follow, though it can be rather tight at times. At 84 to 87%, a light rain falls in the background and the player enters as a minicube. The jumps here are moderately challenging. Good flying skills are required for the preceding rocket ship part, which gradually speeds up to triple speed before slowing back down to single speed. At 87 to 91%, the scenery becomes blocky with tight ball and UFO gameplay. At 91 to 100%, the level ends as a slow minicube with colorful, changing shapes in the background. Trigger orbs are placed here that need to be used to advance. The timing here is well synchronized with the music. As the last spikes are jumped over, the visibility gradually changes and GG can be seen in the corridor, made out of white 3D objects. The level ends with credits to the playtesters as well as the creator's name and name of the level. There are 3 user coins in this demon level. The first coin is located at 16%. If the player wants to get it, they must first touch a glowing section of the roof in the first rocket ship, which is in a tight space. Afterwards, before hitting the glitchy dash orb, the player must avoid hitting the jump orbs the player must avoid hitting the spheres to collect a skull. Once they have collected those two, at the robot before the pre-drop, the player must jump over the red sphere and touch a small glowing section. Once they have done these steps, they can collect the coin at the pre-drop. The second coin is located at 46%. In order to get it, the player must activate 2 buttons during the mini robot in the sewers. After this, in the mini rocket ship at 40%, there is a switch on top of the camera above some obstacles. After the player has activated these 2 things, a robot portal and mini robot portal will spawn in the cube section. After which, at 45%, the player can drop down to an unlocked area and collect the coin. The third and final coin is located at 98%. In order to get it, the player must collect 2 mini coins at 70%, cube parts by skipping the green spheres and jumping on a platform. After this, at the mini cube, after the final duel, the player must go on top of the first block with the spike beneath it and then select an area at the top of the UFO section by tapping twice. When they first enter the portal, once these have been done, 2 keys will appear at the last minicube. Once the player has collected those 2 keys, the coin will be available by clicking earlier at the last jump. Justin Sanchez died at 99% because he celebrated too early. Never do that. Even that GR8 and Happy 365 died at 99% as well. Guitar Hero Styles died at 82% and 89%. GD Skull crashed at 89%, 95%, and 98%. Juniper died at 94%. The password for this level is 693041, which matches the song ID. This level was ranked in number 95 in GD Today's 100 Greatest Levels of All Time list. The level contains 311900 objects, over 100,000 more than Dark Travel, which has 208,317 objects. This level is 6 minutes and 15 seconds long. This level makes it the 7th longest rated extreme demon in the game, behind Boogie, Free for All 2, Sinister Silence, Light Travel, Death, and Eon. This level was nominated for and achieved Best XL in the Geometry Dash 2021 awards. Despite this level's origin, Dark Travel, or Jonathan GD's other demon levels, being verified by mostly Embed or Nexus, Jonathan GD verified the level by himself, making it his first full solo extreme demon level. It surpasses Chromalint in length by nearly 30 seconds, which is 5 minutes and 48 seconds long. This level was verified on May 9th, 2021, before Jonathan GD re-uploaded it, but many people were re-uploading it within 60 hours, so Jonathan GD had to strike them down. If the player dies at 99% without jumping over a simple small spike, the message GG will turn into a red brah. Justin Sanchez became the first person to die at 99% when he forgot to jump over the final spike. However, some people know that he celebrated too early. 12 days after Justin Sanchez died at 99%, Happy 365 became the second person to do so. On November 8th, 2021, Ivan DAGR8 became the third person to die at 99%. The small spike will disappear if the player uses practice mode or sets a start position. There are debates about the rating of Dark Odyssey. Some people believe it is an extreme demon due to the buffs and overall harder gameplay compared to its predecessor and the length. However, others have suggested that it should be an insane demon. As a result, the level fails into the difficulty of a low-end extreme demon. At the bottom of the end screen, a counter will show how many times the player jumped. In practice mode, it will show how many times the player died instead. If the player uses a start position, it will say, "It looks like you're using Start POS, huh?" At the part with colored switch blocks, if the player tries to jump over the blue question mark block, a double spike will appear above it, a parody of Air and his double spikes. The message included with it says, "Hi, I'm Eon," above the block, with his name decorated in the spikes, with "and this is a double spike" below it. It is currently the most liked extreme demon that is not list worthy, surpassing ACU. It uses the song Dark Matter Sweet Onefinity Lorb Shetty remix, featured in the official prequel Dark Travel Innards and another upcoming travel level, Nox Travel. This song is a remix of several songs from Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon, one of the most notable songs that play when the player and their partner fights the second phase of Dark Matter. Dark Odyssey is currently the only extreme demon by Jonathan GD that was never placed on the demon list. This level was in Eric Van Wilderman's 12 Demons of Christmas 2021 series as demon number 8. When the 2.2 update was released, it was discovered that some physics were tweaked, which made some levels signify harder or even impossible, Dark Odyssey being one of them. Formerly, the toggle orbs in the first dual section did not trigger the UFOs to jump. With the reworked physics, the UFOs now jump, making the level impossible due to the toggle orbs having to be toggled to deactivate an avoidable wall. This was later fixed.